Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is something new I'm trying out here. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy it. It's kind of like Dynasty but on 2K. So we're gonna try this out for a couple games. I think that it could be really interesting. Hopefully we could go deeper into the Dynasty, into the storyline as I learn more about the game itself and also just like stuff that comes along with it. But I'm really excited for this mode. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, we'll see how it goes. And yeah, so we're just gonna get straight into it. Nothing crazy in the beginning, but let's go. We're just gonna be going in with this custom roster that has a lot of updated stuff. It's really cool. Then we're gonna make our team. So we go. At first, I had them in the Eastern Conference in the Central Division, but then I decided that I'm gonna be making a team called, you see the logo there, the California Redwoods. So this team, I'm creating their colors. I am doing everything you can do behind the scenes. Now I named the court something I thought was pretty clever. You know, the California Redwoods, naming the stadium the treehouse. I thought that was pretty clever. We're gonna add a Jumbotron here. Now the Jumbotron was very specific and important to pick which one, because you don't want to make it look too modern, you don't want to make it look too cozy, so, or too small. So I think we picked a pretty solid one. It's kind of like the mix of both. You have the classic scoreboard kind of feel and the old kind of feel. Then you get the scores table, and the scores table, I don't know, I just like the long look better. We're gonna add different ads to make it look more realistic, like real life. Now I'm just gonna play a time lapse really quickly for you guys, just to go through everything else, because there's a lot of stuff that I did do in here. You guys see here I'm messing around with the sound effects. Time lapse, just boom, everything else I did in the stadium. Now we get to the jersey, or the uniform. The uniform is one of the most important parts of a team, because not only is the uniform representing the brand, it can be used as fashion. It's seen literally every time a team goes on the court. It's advertising. So much stuff goes into making a uniform, and the thing I wanted to do the most was kind of keep that relaxed, retro-ish feel going on that we did on the court, and went through the logo and put it on display. So that was one of the biggest things I wanted to do. I had a lot of different things that I did behind the scenes to upload photos for different elements of the jersey and uniform, but for the most part I think I did pretty good. You guys are gonna see a time lapse coming up right now, basically, of just the creation process. Yes, Chipotle was one of our first, I guess you could say, sponsors, but we're sponsored by a different brand now. All right, here is the most important part, the draft. Now, here we're going to pick our players. We're going to see who's going to be on the roster, who's going to be on the squad for the first year. So I'm looking at it here. I didn't want to pick any older guys like Zach Levine, Tobias Harris, CJ McCollum, because these guys are already pretty solid players on their own teams. So there's really no need for us to pick them up and put them in a system which is going to be totally new to them. And it's just going to have a lot of other, for the first year at least, randoms. You know, we're not going to be able to pick exactly who we want yet. We just got to build literally from scratch. So for our first pick, we're going to get a guy named Jarris Walker out of, he went to Houston University for college, but we just picked him off from the Indiana Pacers. He's a young guy, definitely a young player, definitely a solid role player to have on the squad for the first year. I decided to fire our past coach and get a new coach. So our new coach for this year, his name is Glenn Morrison. He's going to be on a 4-year, $18.55 million contract. I also was like, fuck it, and we got a new team doctor. And we got a new CFO, just because why not? At this point, I was just kind of, looking around the menu, seeing what different things are in, what is this, franchise mode or whatever in 2K. And I was coming across the trophy case, which I was interested in. This is going to be filled sooner than later. Do not wait. Now, at this point, just decided to do a little bit of editing to the general manager or the GM. We're going to change his name to Tim Lincoln. We're going to edit him up a little bit to make him look nice, sharp, but still like a cool dude you want to talk to. Here, I'm just adding specific badges. You guys are going to see pretty quickly every badge I put or equipped or unequipped or if they're gold, bronze, stuff like that. But I was just playing around. I don't really know too much about this yet, but maybe in the future I'll learn a little bit more about how these work. But now at this point, I was just jacking around, bro. I was just looking at different stuff that I've never really looked for in this game mode in 2K. So maybe I'll do a little bit more about this more with this in the future. But currently, I was just messing around, looking at different stuff. Definitely, I do want to go into detail and deeper as the season goes on. But I was just looking at a bunch of different stuff before the season actually started. You can see the roster right here. Now, I do want to introduce to you guys a new character, a created character, JJ Banks, out of Oregon. We had to change him out for some reason. He said he was a center at first, but he's a guard. He's a point guard out of Oregon. Hopefully, he'll be a really big piece for our team this year. We might even start him. Who knows? At this point, I was just fucking around with the minutes for each player. I did actually end up starting CJ, and at this point, I was just thinking, like, Anthony Simons, I don't really think you're going to fit in this team. So we benched him at first, and then later we're going to just release him to free agency. I know, bro, crazy. We just drafted this kid, and he's already getting released. I know, but this team, I just didn't feel like he'll fit. So you see, the roster going into the first game. Also, I forgot to mention, we did pick up this point guard he was on the Phoenix Suns G League team. We needed an extra player on our team, so we just picked him up from free agency. He was cheap, perfect. We're just going to have him for however long we need him, but we just picked him up really quickly.